Among all the holy objects, I think the stupa is one of the most important holy object because it represents the enlightened heart. It's a Buddha's mind. Of course, Buddha's mind, the Buddha's wisdom is the highest qualities of even all the rest of the enlightened qualities, among all the rest of the enlightened qualities. So the existence of holy objects are deeds of the Buddha for sentient beings to create merit. Even just one nail-size sasa, or even dust form of anything related to Buddha's holy body, speech, and mind is, their deeds for sentient beings to create merit. Why you build stupa, why stupas exist, ultimately is to sentient beings to purify their karma, accumulate merit, and directly create cause for enlightenment because of the object representing or carry the characteristic of enlightenment. Maybe I would like to illustrate the benefit in relation to one story which I always used to share with others. It is the story in relation to one old man, which his name is called Kimdag Pelgye. He came into existence during Buddha's time. And I think he must be somewhere around 80s. And he already have I think at least 2 generations of family members. And that time in India, I think all families stay together. Like similar to most of the family, their family politics and this and that. And also a lot of children, very noisy. So this old man, Kimdag Pelgye, he really wanted to spend, remaining his life in a very quiet place, very peaceful, not only with him, but even the environment. So he thought that maybe best is to become monk. And nearby, I think there's a Shariputra's monastery. So I think it seems like this story happened around central India. He went to approach Shariputra, say, I want to become monk. And Shariputra blandly tell him, you're a bit too old to become a monk because monk, the newcomers, you have to do a lot of chore in the monastery, whether how old you are. So he says, I don't think you can able to manage that. Second thing is, I don't see any meritorious causes for you to become monk. Was quite offensive for him. He was so depressed, but he know that he just made a decision. I'm not going back home. To quiet himself from all the noise, he thought is to suicide. So jump from the cliff. So he went to approach one cliff nearby. And suddenly Buddha appeared. Of course, Buddha was quite well known. I mean, by then, maybe very well known, but he never really kind of directly, meet face to face, because Kimdag Pelgye was so busy with his family matters, so never really received teaching. So Buddha also knew that, so he don't want to shock, I think, to Kimdag Pelgye. So he manifests as an ordinary monk, and he just, even though he know everything, is omniscient, so he asks, what happened? Why you are here? So he started to tell the stories, and Buddha says, I'm omniscient. The monk that you went to see is my disciple. And the stage of realization is up to arhat. And he have no ability to see the entirety of the subtle karma. I, as omniscient, to see, including of the subtle karma. I can see that you have a great amount of meritorious virtue in your continuum, which in fact cause you to be reborn as a human being and have a complete family, great family. And not only that, this merit actually is serving the cause for you to become a monk, and you will become a monk. And not only that, within few years of period, you will have the same level of realization as Shariputra. So of course, Kimdag Pelgye was so excited and said, tell me how. So then Buddha says, your immediate past life was a fly, and you're searching for food. And finally, you land on a dry cow dung. And while you are enjoying suddenly there's a heavy rain and a storm, and immediately flooded around the area. And that strong wind somehow on the flooding were pushed while you are still not giving up, enjoying your food. You went round one object, which is the stupa. You went one round, and that is the action of your past life. Bring the ripening result to become a human being, to have complete family, and that is also cause for you to become monk, and also will cause you to be arhat, before you pass away. So from here you can see the power of circumambulation of holy object, in particularly stupa. Can imagine how immeasurable merit that we will accumulate. At least we as a human being, even you don't know about stupa, even you don't admire, but you find, wow, quite interesting, isn't it? And if you understand the value of stupa, you will have faith, you will have inspiration, you will have respect, and we will use our own aggregates, like such as limbs, to walk around, circumambulate around, and maybe we may even do, gesture of prostration, and in heart, you will just rejoice and praise, respects and qualities of the Buddha, etc., etc. Comparing to this fly, the fly don't have motivation. In fact, the fly's mind is completely overwhelmed by the desire towards the food. And the action that going around the stupa was not by his own force, it was a force of the wind that push the dry cow down to make one round, and can able to create that much merit to cause arhatship. Now can imagine we as a human being to able to go around one time. I mean, maybe it's like when you see the benefit, and this story is a fact. It's not just kind of like a fairy tale story. It's a real story. Really happened. Is in a Jataka tell. There's a Kimdag Pelgye story there. So, as if like I think we don't have to do anything except just circumambulate the stupa, to get rid of samsara and actualize liberation, So from here you can see why need to build stupas, why need to have stupas, and why we need to go around the stupa to circumambulate, why we need to do prostration to the stupa, why we need to make offering to the stupa, why we need to visualize the stupa, why we need to build stupa. Ultimately is to build the stupa in our own heart, isn't it? And the external stupa is a causal stupa to condition to actualize the resultant stupa within our heart. And what that stupa is omniscient wisdom, the Dharmakaya.